Good morning. Let us come together quietly, not for a technique, not for a pep talk, but for a principle, one living principle that if it takes root, will go on teaching after this hour and after my voice is silent. The prophets would have called it the word of the Lord. The Master said, "My doctrine is not mine," and I must say the same. If what you hear sounds like opinion, discard it. If it settles into you as life, as peace, as the end of fear, it is the principle revealing itself. Now, in case you came with an anxious list, bills, deadlines, projections, set it down for these minutes. We are not here to manipulate effects. We are not here to make money behave. We are here, very simply, to behold the fact that money isn't supply. I is supply. I embody supply. Supply isn't external to me. In other words, the I that says I in you before you add a name or a history, that I is the invisible substance out of which the forms of your day will appear in due season. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, not chased, added. I want to be very honest with you. If you ask me, how will it come on Friday? I might have to say, I don't know. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. Never hesitate to say that. It is the doorway to truth. Don't try to force a pattern. Don't try, live it, exemplify it. The principle, not our cleverness, authors the form. Be still and know that I am God. Be still first, then knowing follows, then the forms are added. That is the order. Anxiety reverses the order and asks the forms to prove the presence. They never do. Presence proves the forms. You see, we have all been reared under a great hypnosis of effects. We learn to bow before the coin, the employer, the market, as though these were gods able to bless or to withhold. And in the end, we find ourselves bargaining with shadows. That is why fear does not leave. It cannot. We have granted power to another God. The first word of Scripture is still the first word of freedom. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Let there be no God named dollar, no God named opportunity, no God named client. God is supply, and the name of God in you is I. Our aim in this hour is to move gently but decisively from chasing forms to living from the invisible source, from law to grace. The law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. You are only under cosmic law until you achieve the realization of grace. Under law, effects seem to punish and reward. Under grace, the invisible eye reveals itself as the substance, the law, and the life of every right form. And the fear that clutched at your chest has no object left to grasp. Perfect love casteth out fear, not perfect budgets, perfect projections, or perfect arguments, perfect love. The realized I, and let me place this in its lineage so you know where you stand. What unfolds here is of the same stream that gave us the infinite way. Those pages were not a man's opinions. Each chapter was a principle born in consciousness, in class, in prayer. So it is now. If the line of this morning reaches you, it will be because the principle itself has touched you. If not, lay it aside. It may not be its hour in you. Do not attempt to memorize or perform. Sit with it until it is bone of your bone. Live it. Then you will discover, without drama, that forms appear when and as needed, and that fear, having lost its idol, has no place to live. So, Good morning and welcome to this simple threshold. Here we stop chasing the wind. Here we let the wind of the Spirit move as it will. Here we accept the outrageous sentence that is also our liberation. Money isn't supply. I is supply. We will let that say itself within us until it is the only language we speak. And as it speaks, you will find that my kingdom is not of this world, yet it governs this world with quiet authority. And you, abiding in it, will see additions without pursuit, answers without argument, and a day that does not begin or end in fear. Now let us turn and face, quietly but without compromise, the idol that has been standing in the holy place of your consciousness. And I use that word intentionally, idol. For an idol is nothing in itself, a carved effect, a picture, which men then fear and serve as though it had breath. Money is such an idol when you crown it in your thought as cause. Money isn't supply. Money is an appearance of supply. It is a form, an effect, a byproduct of an inner cause. In other words, it is the shadow cast when the light of I moves through a specific need in a specific moment. If you have been living as though the shadow were the sun, you will understand why you have been cold even with a coin in your palm. How is fear born? It is born the minute you locate your good outside yourself. The minute you enthrone effect as power, you begin to compare your effect with your neighbor's effect. You measure your worth by digits, your safety by a balance, your tomorrow by a forecast. And with every comparison, the heart hastens. With every forecast, the breath shallows. Anxiety is not a condition of the body or bank. Anxiety is the vibration of idolatry. Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, the Master said. Not because food and drink are unholy, but because taking thought for the effect as if it were the cause severs you from the living fountain. You cannot drink from a pitcher of water, and you cannot be fed by the idea of bread. My kingdom is not of this world. Do not crown effects as king. You see, when you say, if only I had money, I would be safe, you have confessed two masters. One master called God and another called money. No man can serve two masters. You will love one and despise the other, fear one and flatter the other. And as long as money is your master, it must also be your tyrant. For the same thought that crowns, it must protect it, chase it, worry it, calculate it, hoard it, and lose sleep when it goes on vacation. That is the whip of cosmic law, sowing and reaping on the plane of appearances. Under it, you are forever trying to make effects be loyal to you. They never are. They are effects. Shift the locus. Bring the government back upon the shoulder of I. Supply is never outside you. It cannot be any more than the life of a tree can be in the orange that appears for a season. Supply is the indwelling life, the invisible presence called I that announces itself in time as money when money fits, as opportunity when opportunity fits, as an idea when an idea fits. And sometimes, let me be honest, without any of those familiar signs, but with a door opening you did not even know to desire. If you chase the sign, you miss the life. If you anchor in the life, the sign appears in due season, and it is enough. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt. Is not a ban on saving, it is a ban on worship. It says, do not make a treasure of the form. Do not mistake the purse for the principle. The purse will empty and fill, empty and fill. The principle is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When you sit tonight and feel that old familiar urge to run after the next promise, pause, ask, Who is king here, effect? Or I? Let that question work on you. If in honesty you find that effect is king, do not condemn yourself. Simply dethrone it. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Not before the me of ego, but before the me that says I am. Stop chasing money. Not because you are spiritual and money is not, but because chasing is the confession of separation, and separation is the birthplace of fear. Awaken to I as supply. Sit in the awareness. Even if at first you cannot articulate it. I don't know. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. Good. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. Let the inner assurance come first, however faintly. The moment you feel even a wisp of that assurance, you will notice that the tyrant loosens his grip. The idol begins to look like what it always was, paper and ink, metal and number, useful, yes, but not sovereign. And then, without trumpet or headline, you will watch the subtle reversal. Your day will no longer be organized around acquisition, but around recognition, recognition of I, recognition of the quiet currents that bear you. You will earn, spend, give, receive, but without the fever. Appearances will continue to dance. Forms will come and go, but within a fixed star will hold you. For it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, not the coin, the kingdom. And from that kingdom, the coin, if needed, will be added. That is the end of chasing and the beginning of rest. Let me give you a picture you can carry into your kitchen, your office, your pillow. Imagine an orchard at dawn. The air is cool, the leaves hold a little night water, and there stands an orange tree, not striving, not performing, just being what it is. In season, the boughs are jeweled with fruit. In another season, only leaves and the quiet work of roots. Now imagine a very anxious farmer, pockets empty and nerves on edge, who runs down to the market, buys boxes of bright oranges, and spends the day with paste and twine trying to make his tree look prosperous. He ties, he props, he angles them just so, and for a moment, as the sun hits the color, it looks like abundance, but there is no juice in a glued fruit. By noon, the twine cuts into the bark. By evening, the branches are bent and sore. And by morning, a wind has come and scattered the show across the ground. He has effects without cause, weight without life. You and I, in our fear, have done the same. We have glued checks to branches. We have pasted clients to calendars. We have tied titles to our limbs and called it supply. And when the wind comes as it does and the checks are delayed or the clients change their mind or a title is handed to another, we mourn as if life itself were lost. In other words, we have mistaken oranges for sap, fruit for life, appearance for substance. The life of the tree was never in the orange. The orange was the timely witness to a life already flowing. You smile at the fruit, but your reverence belongs to the life, for with thee is the fountain of life. In thy light shall we see light. The orange cannot make the tree alive. The living tree makes the orange inevitable. So let the parable do its work. The invisible life is supply. Oranges are its appearance in time. The I in you before job description, before yesterday's failure or tomorrow's interview. That I is the root, the sap, the law of unfolding. I am the vine, ye are the branches. Hear that not as poetry, but as practice. Abide in I and fruit appears. Cut yourself off in belief, and you can do nothing but tie on substitutes. Career is an orange. Clients are oranges. Checks, contracts, applause. Each is seasonal fruit, useful, sweet, sometimes plentiful, sometimes sparse, but never the source. Money isn't supply. I is supply. I embody supply. Let that identity be the tree, and then watch how naturally the form takes care of itself. Now, seasons will test you. There is a spring of tender shoots and a summer of forming. There is harvest and there is winter, when nothing seems to be happening but everything is being prepared. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. The impatient farmer shakes the limbs to hurry the fruit, and only breaks what he loves. Forcing breaks branches, remember that. The law of paste and twine will always promise you a shortcut. Borrow beyond peace, flatter beyond truth, compromise beyond integrity. It yields a photograph of fruit, but not nourishment. Under grace, there is an order, a gestation, a ripening that cannot be coerced. You are only under cosmic law, sowing and reaping on the surface until you achieve the realization of grace. And grace never asks you to glue. It invites you to abide. So what do we do when form is sparse? Do we panic and run to the market for twine? No. We honor the root. We tend the soil of consciousness. We consent to winter without self-accusation. Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not. They spin not. They are not idle. They are established. Their life is not in the petal's color, but in the hidden flow. In a quiet hour, you may have to confess, I don't know how the fruit will show up this week. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. Good. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. Let the sense of I as life be more real to you than the sight of a bare bough. In due season, without paste, without push, the first green bead forms, then the swell, then the color. And when it comes, do not bow to the orange. Bow to the life. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory. Carry this picture into your affairs. When a client appears, smile as you would at a bright fruit and say within yourself, thank you, life. When a check arrives, receive it as juice from a living tree whose root is I. If fruit falls, let it go. The tree is untouched. If fruit is late, do not shake the limb. Anchor in the root. This is how fear dissolves, not by securing every orange in the county, but by discovering that you are not an orchard of glued effects. You are the living tree of I, and fruit is inevitable where life is realized. Now let us stop talking about the root and touch it. Sit as you are, but let the body agree with the truth we are about to taste. Put your hands open, palms resting, not pleading. Uncross the legs. Let the shoulders drop, and let the breath find its own pace. We are not going to work something up. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. If a thought comes, it may be this. Be still and know that I am God. But even that, let it whisper and pass. We are here for contact, not commentary. This is not a moment to get money. This is not where we cut a deal with heaven. No visualization, no bargaining, no mental carpentry to build an outcome. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Hear that as the end of striving, not the beginning of a project. If images rise, clients, calendars, oranges, let them be like birds crossing a wide sky. We are not catching birds. We are noticing the sky. Gently, within yourself, without strain, notice the I that says I before you add name, or need. That I is not a thought. It is presence. It has never been late to its own life. It is the life. If you must have words, let them be as light as breath. I is supply. I embody supply. Supply is not external to me. And after you have whispered that once within, let the sentence dissolve back into the presence from which it came. In him we live and move and have our being. We are not reaching for him. We are being in him. Now we will be still. No effort to feel something. No attempt to measure success. If nothing seems to happen, good. It means we are not inventing. If peace rises, good. Do not pet it. Let there be a minute of simple being, quiet, receptive, unguarded, and after the fire, a still, small voice. If the voice is still, honor the stillness. We will not define what has occurred. I don't know what form, if any, moved upon your waters. It hasn't unfolded to me yet about you, and you need not tell yourself a story about it. What matters is that even for a breath, you turned from effects to presence. That is the pivot of demonstration. Conscious contact, not effort, reveals the I, that is supply. The tree does not strain to be a tree. It abides. We just practiced abiding. Notice, perhaps, a hush where a hurry used to be. It might be small, like the first green bead on a bare branch. Do not shake it into orange. Let it be. Deep calleth unto deep. If an old habit starts to whisper, quick, plan something, secure something, smile at it as you would at a sparrow on the rail, and let it fly on. We are not in the market now. We are in the sanctuary of I. Carry this hush into the next hour without preaching to yourself. If a need presents itself, meet it humanly as wisdom directs, but from within this quiet, no vows, no promises, just the felt fact that I is here and I is enough. If you find yourself tempted to resume affirmations as tricks, stop, don't try, live it, exemplify it, sit for another minute, touch the root. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let words stop where presence begins. Now, before we tell another soul about this, let us be honest about the ethic of it. There is no way of teaching what you do not exemplify to some degree. The Master did not say, by their talk ye shall know them, but by their fruits. In other words, the word must become flesh before it becomes instruction. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. If you can't put it into a sentence yet, wonderful. It may be that the sentence has not been born of the Spirit in you. Never hesitate to say, I don't know. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. That humility keeps the channel clean. I will tell you something of my own shame so you know the ground you stand on. When the first of our work began to take form in pages, I begged and pleaded not to allow it to be printed. I was ashamed of it. It sounded to my human ear too bold, too absolute, too simple, and I feared that if I put it out there, it would demand of me a life equal to its claim. It did. Growth is humbling and progressive. These are not books written by a man's opinions. Each line that has any life in it was a principle that had to wring itself into my living. Where I could not yet live it, I said so. Where I had a small fruit, I offered only that fruit and did not paint the tree. Start small. Do not promise the world, demonstrate the hour. Pay one bill from inner rest. Before you open the ledger, sit, touch the eye, and let fear fall to the floor. If it does not fall at once, do not scold yourself. Be still. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Make one necessary call without mental rehearsal, without strain. First make contact, then dial. If the person answers coldly, do not let that shake the root. Let results follow. In other words, let the form be added. Tomorrow, shop for your groceries without tightening the stomach. Walk the aisles with, "The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want," breathing you. These are not stunts. They are tiny obediences by which the law of paste and twine is set aside, and grace begins to govern the ordinary. If it helps, and it will find someone in this work who has been touched by grace, and ask them to stand by with you, not as a crutch, not to think for you, but to witness to the presence while you consent to it. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. I have often asked a student or a practitioner, stand by with me for the next 3 days, not to push an effect into place, but to keep the atmosphere honest. Their silence becomes a wall against panic. Their assurance says without saying, you are not under the arithmetic of fear now. You are moving out from cosmic law into realized grace. Even prisoners have been set free, not by argument, but by grace overruling sentence. It is the same principle in a household budget. The sentence of lack is annulled in the presence. When words do come, let them be simple. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, no salesmanship, no testimonial parade. If someone asks you how you are managing your affairs with such quiet, you might only say, I've been learning not to chase effects. And then if they are truly hungry, sit with them in stillness. Teach, if at all, from what you have seen born in you. If a phrase like money isn't supply, I is supply, has become flesh of your flesh, then speak it once, softly, and live the rest. If it has not, be silent. Silence is integrity. This is our integrity. Embodiment before instruction, demonstration before explanation. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only. As you are faithful in little, paying 1 bill in peace, making 1 call from rest, you will find the authority to speak grows of itself, without strain, without trumpet. And when you do speak, it will not be you. It will be the principle saying, I am. And those who have ears will hear not argument, but freedom. Let us, for a few minutes, go beneath practice to the frame that makes practice inevitable. We have been dealing with fruit and with demonstration. Now we must say, as plainly as the Spirit will permit, what is real and what is picture. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. In other words, what you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, the ledger, the market, the face that frowns or smiles, these are mental images. They are not the creation. They are the photograph of thought upon the screen of sense. The photograph is not the person. The map is not the country. The account balance is not supply. Reality is God. God is the substance of all true form, the law and the life of it. There is no separate material cause acting beside God to produce a second kind of universe. There's no matter. There are no material formations. There's no material law. What we call matter is a way of perceiving. What we name material law is a pattern of belief. The things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Supply is God's substance expressed. Health is God life expressed. Harmony is God law expressed. Effects are the showing forth of that, because God revealing itself in form suited to the hour. Now, if this jars you a bit, let it. It is meant to unseat the idol of sense without frightening the child of God. When you open a wallet and find thin paper, that is an appearance, a picture in sense. Does it feel real? Oh, yes. Sense always feels convincing. But ask, what law in God sustains lack? What divine statute upholds fear? None. Lack has no law to support it. It is a shadow on the screen. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, not from below the line item, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness. Light does not uphold darkness. Principle does not authorize penalty in the presence of grace. I know the protest, but Joel, my bills are dated in ink, and I do not make light of the human scene. Pay what is yours to pay, answer what is yours to answer. But do not wrestle with pictures as if they were cause. Turn. Deal only with God as substance. Sit for your minute, be still, and let the eye that is supply reveal itself. Not to change a number, not to paste oranges, but to let cause declare itself as all. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. The visible does not father the visible. The invisible does. Here is the practical read. When lack presents, you are looking at a film. You can scratch the film, shout at the film, write over the film, and for a moment the picture may seem altered, but the projector, the belief in matter as cause, still runs. Cut the power at the wall. Withdraw your faith from appearances as cause. Give your allegiance back to I. Whisper within, not as magic, but as recognition. I is supply. I embody supply. Supply is not external to me. Then be still. Let cause be cause. Do not watch the clock. Do not peek at the screen for quick edits. Grace does not perform under stopwatch. It governs. What happens next? If you ask for a schedule, I might have to say, I don't know. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. And that is honest. But I do know the nature of reality. God, being the substance, law, and life of all true form, must appear as form without your carpentry. In due season, the picture aligns with the fact. The call you feared makes itself. The idea walks in while you wash a cup. The right sum appears with no stain on the conscience. Or perhaps nothing outward stirs for a day, and within, the fear drops out of your chest like a stone into deep water. Do you see? Even that is form, the first form peace. He upholdeth all things by the word of his power. Under that word, the outer follows. So train the eye. When you look upon a scene, good or ill, say within yourself, I will not judge by the sight of the eyes, nor reprove by the hearing of the ears. I will behold God as substance here. If beauty appears, give the glory, pass the picture to the life. If lack appears, refuse it, law. Stand in eye until the only world you recognize is the one framed by the word. Then go about your errands from that altitude. Answer the letter. Make the purchase. Decline the compromise with the quiet certainty that you are not manipulating shadows, but consenting to the light. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, the realm where God alone is, cause in his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Added, not manufactured, shown forth, not chased. And because they are God's substance expressed, they will carry no fear in them, no penalty, no aftertaste of strain, only the taste of grace. Now we come to a threshold. We have looked at pictures and we have honored substance. Now we must see why fear drops its whip when grace draws near. Under the unawakened sense, you live by arithmetic, sowing and reaping on the plane of appearances. Do this, get that. Omit this, suffer that. It is mechanical. It is impersonal. It is the treadmill of cosmic law. And as long as you identify yourself as a creature among creatures competing for effects, you are bound to its ledger. You add, you subtract, you count, you dread the audit. But here the pivot. You are only under cosmic law until you achieve the realization of grace. The law came by Moses. Grace and truth came by Christ. In other words, when the I, that is supply, is realized as your life, the jurisdiction changes. The penalties written under one court lose standing in another. I have watched this not as theory, but as living principle. A man sat before me under a sentence, inked and sealed. The arithmetic said 5 years. Family grieved. He had earned a penalty in that ledger, no argument. And we did not plead a loophole. We did not try to paste oranges onto a dead branch. We turned. We entered the sanctuary of I. In a quiet hour, the presence filled the room, no voices, no visions, just that still authority that says, I am. Within weeks, the machinery of penalty unwound in ways I could not have planned. Change of counsel, a judge moved to mercy, a letter found that reframed the fact. The arithmetic of fear and penalty lost its voice. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, not because the deed was excused, but because the man was no longer identified with the mind that did it. He was under grace. Behavior followed. Go and sin no more. Was not a command to a frightened will. It was the natural fruit of a life changed at the root. I have seen debts dissolve when no math could justify it. A creditor, cold for months, writes paid in full, and later says, I don't know why. It seemed right. I don't know either. It hasn't unfolded to me yet in detail. I only know the atmosphere had shifted. No bargaining, no fear, only the felt government of God. I have watched illness reverse against prognosis, the fever yield, the rhythm steady, when the household stopped fighting pictures and consented to presence. This is not magic, and it is not carelessness. This is jurisdiction. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. Grace sets aside the sentence imposed by cosmic law and establishes you in a new order where God alone is cause, where life answers to life. Now, hear me. Grace is not a trick to evade responsibility. It is not a pre-stamp on bad faith. Grace transforms the man. Under realized grace, the thief cannot keep his fingers moving. They belong to a new heart. Under realized grace, the debtor does not dance away from obligation. He finds honest ways, unpressured and upright, to let love fulfill what law demanded. Love is the fulfilling of the law. Behavior aligns without sermon because identity has changed. You do not behave to get grace. Grace births behavior that no longer breeds penalty. What then of fear? It has no ground. If grace is present, you are not bound to the arithmetic of past causes. You may still answer a letter, sign a check, make a restitution, but not as a slave to an accusation. Perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. Grace removes the torment by removing the self that imagined itself separate, guilty, and sentenced. Money's tyranny ends with it because money is no longer law. I is supply. You feel it first as peace white as snow in a mind, once loud, and then, in due season, forms appear that bear no aftertaste of penalty. So cross the threshold. Stop negotiating with the courthouse of appearances. Sit, touch eye, and let jurisdiction be changed in you. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That rest is not an afternoon off. It is emancipation from the treadmill of cosmic law. Abide there, and you will find that the ledger that once accused you now becomes a witness to grace numbers, serving, bodies, healing, doors opening quietly, impersonally, right on time. When you consciously make contact with God, you are in that instant at one with every right idea and the forms by which those ideas must, in season, show themselves. Not some ideas, every spiritual idea required for your hour. The wisdom for a decision, the person whose handshake will close the loop, the means by which today's need appears. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. In other words, the answer exists in God before the question rises in you. Contact does not invent it. Contact reveals you at one with it. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. Sit, touch eye, and accept that oneness is the hinge on which outward provision swings. But, and this is the tenderness of it, ideas have a timing. There is conception. There is gestation. There is birth. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest shall not cease. A word may be conceived in your meditation today and take 3 years to be born as a position, a partnership, a home, a steady stream where once there was a trickle. Haste breaks rhythm. Shaking the branch does not ripen fruit. It bruises it. In due season we shall reap if we faint not. Do you see? Faith does not mean frenzy. It means consent to God's seasons in you. The life within you keeps time better than your watch. Now, hear this so you can breathe. There is no competition in God. All ability, all office, all right work are embodied within you as the child of God. You are not fighting for another man's fruit. You are unfolding your own. A man can receive nothing except it be given him from heaven. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. No one can take what is yours in grace, and you cannot wear what belongs to another's unfoldment. In other words, stop measuring yourself against photographs of someone else's harvest. Their orange is not your season. Their season is not your law. When you abide in I, you stand at one with your proper gift, and it will declare itself without rivalry. So how do we live between conception and birth? Plant, water, rest. Very simply, make your contact. Let the idea that rises be not a project to push, but a seed to tend. Take the next human step that is clean. Send a letter that has peace on it. Study the craft without hurry. Meet the obligation you can meet today without fear, and then lie down inside. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. The lying down is as holy as the planting. And every time the mind reaches to claw at the branch, hurry, secure it, tie it on, smile, and set the hand down. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. You cannot pry open a womb to make the child arrive. You can only trust that what God conceives, God brings to term. The right people and monies are already in embryo within your consciousness. They are not outside, running loose to be hunted. They are in the invisible life of I, waiting their hour. My times are in thy hand. I have watched an idea sown in a quiet afternoon appear 3 years later as a call from a city we had not considered. It seems you're the one, they said. Why me? I don't know the wheels that turned. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. I only know that the sense of hurry had drained out, and the work when it came fit like a garment tailored in secret. I have seen a household live within its peace through lean months, planting skill and honesty, and then, as if from nowhere, a steady contract arrives, unsigned until that very week, born at the exact hour. Integrity could wear it. So trust the gestation. Do not despise days that feel slow. They are womb days. Keep your atmosphere clean, no envy, no frantic comparison, so the child of idea has room. Each morning, make your conscious contact, whisper within, I is supply. I embody supply. Then take the day's step and rest. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Oneness guarantees right supply and right season. Your part is consent, not coercion. Faithfulness, not forcing. In due season, birth cries will sound like simple knocks at your door. Quiet, impersonal, right on time. Let me give you what validates, without noise, quiet cases where supply unfolded because someone refused to chase effects and chose instead to abide. There was a woman, no show of a name is needed, who had worn herself thin, sending resumes into a wind, tailoring, tweaking, pressing, as if the market were a god to be pleased. When she came, we did not design a fresher campaign. We sat, be still, and know that I am God. She made her contact. Then, one clean human step, she gathered her best work into a simple page, without ornament, no salesmanship, no push, and sent one note, the one that had peace on it, to a former colleague, not to get, but to bless. Then she lay down and sighed. 3 weeks, nothing. In the 4th, a call. Your name came up this morning. Are you available to consult for a quarter? Who put her name into that room? I don't know. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. She didn't stir the waters. Grace authored it. The work fit without strain, and it multiplied of itself, not a torrent, a stream. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. In other words, supply found her in the form suiting her hour because she stopped bargaining with pictures and recognized I as cause. Another, a man with a quiet eye for wood, kept notebooks, simple sketches of joints and finishes, written for his sons. No plan, no platform. He had begun, as we say, to practice letting ideas be seeds rather than projects. One afternoon, at rest, after his contact, a thought rose. Photograph, 1 page, and share it in a small circle he belonged to as a gift. He did, then returned to his bench. Weeks later, an editor wrote, have you considered compiling these? We could serialize them. It wandered into modest income, steady, unforced royalties he had not imagined. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. He didn't cast bait, he cast bread. He will tell you, I don't know how it spun out like this. And I nod. I don't know either. What I do know is that money isn't supply. I is supply. I embody supply. Supply isn't external to me. So the idea, righteous and ready, appeared as the dollars needed without carpentry or carnival. A household with debt, the phone had a daytime terror to it. A creditor called, and the old reflex rose. Defend, plead, scramble. We stopped. We did not mute the phone. We muted fear. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Contact first, peace first, then the answer, not rehearsed. The debtor spoke plainly. No drama, no promises he could not keep. The person on the other end, who had been ironed for months, said, after a pause, let me look again. 2 days later, an arrangement nobody had offered appeared, interest reduced, timeline extended, and this was the surprise. An old, misapplied payment was found and credited. I don't know how those pages were sifted just then. It hasn't unfolded to me yet, but I know what changed jurisdiction. The arithmetic of fear had lost command, realized grace did the speaking. He prepareth a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Not a banquet of boasting, a table of sufficiency. Now, understand what we are doing with these accounts. We are not collecting stories to strut with. The quieter the demonstration, the purer the teaching. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Effects differ, consulting contracts, royalties, revised terms, but the principle is one impersonally reliable without favoritism or flattery. When the sense of I is established and the mind yields its clutching, forms present themselves fitted to the need and timed to the hour. Sometimes they look like money. Sometimes they look like a neighbor's knock, a change in a supervisor's heart, a healed rhythm in your own body that frees you to do the next right thing. Sometimes the first and only form for a while is peace, and the payment follows as naturally as breath. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, added quietly, impersonally, on time. I say again, not to charm you, but to keep us honest. I don't know how each thread was knotted. It hasn't unfolded to me yet. I do know the fabric grace holds. When we rest in I, supply appears in fitting forms. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. Sit, touch the root, take the clean step that is yours, and let the harvest introduce itself. No trumpets, no drama, just the principle being itself as your provision. Now, if this is to be more than a bright hour and a dim week, simple, repeatable turns that keep you in the atmosphere of I, so that supply is lived rather than hunted, embodied rather than bargained for. Pray without ceasing does not mean chatter. It means a steady returning to the center until the center begins to carry the day without your prompting. Morning first. Before the hand reaches for the ledger or the phone, sit. Be still. No petitions, no list, only presence. Be still and know that I am God. Close your eyes if that helps. Open them if it does not. It isn't posture, it is consent. Become quiet enough to sense, however faintly, that I am is here and that this I is supply. Whisper if you like, but without pleading, I is supply. I embody supply. Supply is not external to me. Let the sentence fall away into silence until the words are no longer needed and the feel is there. Do not hunt for a sign. Do not set a stopwatch. Sit until you know you are not chasing effects today. You are abiding as cause expressed. Thy kingdom come is not a schedule you push. It is a reign you consent to. When peace answers, even a small peace, that is the authorization for your day. Rise and do the next simple thing without strain. Give us this day our daily bread is not a request you send up. It is a recognition. This day's bread is given in I. Through the day, build small altars, 30 seconds here, 60 there. Every threshold is a cue. Before you open your email, before a meeting, standing at a crosswalk, stop, breathe once, and remember, I embody supply. I am not chasing effects. In other words, I do not need to get. I am here to let. Let God be cause where I stand. Do you see how this turns the current? The mind and its clutching softens. The fear that once drove a dozen nervous moves yields. These pauses are not time lost. They are jurisdiction restored. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. When bills arrive, and they will do not argue with paper. A bill is a photograph, not a cause. Set it down. Turn from paper to presence. Make contact. Even if it takes 1 minute, even if it takes 10, do not proceed until fear loosens. Then take the next plain responsible step. No drama. If you can pay, pay in peace. If you must write simply yea, yea, nay, nay, without salesmanship or self-accusation. If a call is required, make it after contact, not before. You will find that the same words spoken from I land differently than the cleverest speech spoken from fear. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. He shall, not you. With paste and twine, your task is honesty, timeliness, and the atmosphere of grace. Evening is for harvest and consciousness, not for autopsies. Do not dissect the day to prove or disprove the principle. Sit again. Review softly. Where did peace appear? Where did a knot loosen? Where was there a small provision, the unexpected call, the quiet courage to say no, the strength to wait, note a single grace, and give thanks? Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. If you stumbled, if fear ran you for an hour, do not flog yourself. Forgive 70 times 7, even if all 70 are for you. Return to I. Let the last word be praise, not post-mortem. Then sleep under, he giveth his beloved sleep, trusting that the gestation you cannot see continues without your management. Keep a little fellowship alive. Each day, read one paragraph of principle, not to arm yourself with quotes, but to let a single seed go into the soil. Close the book and sit 1 minute with it. Let it become flesh. If a day rises darker than you can hold, ask a practitioner or a friend in this way to stand with you, not to fix an effect, but to keep the atmosphere clear. Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Their silence helps you remember your name. It is not debtor, striver, anxious one. It is I. You may tuck a small card in your pocket. No magic in the ink. Only a reminder. I is supply. Touch it at noon. Look at it before you sign. But most of all, keep the rhythm morning consent, midday remembrance, honest steps when paper speaks, evening gratitude, and the gentle help of fellowship. Simple. Rhythmic contact displaces money chasing with steady embodiment over days and weeks. You will notice not with fanfare that fear has fewer appointments with you, and forms, when they appear, carry the fragrance of ease. My grace is sufficient for thee. Sufficient means enough for the hour. No more strain than the breath you are taking now. Live in that sufficiency and let tomorrow's fruit ripen on its own branch. Don't try, live it, exemplify it. So now we close, not with a flourish, but with a seal. Hear it quietly. You are not a seeker of supply. You are where supply is. The I that is supply has taken root in your awareness, and even if only a seed, it is living. You do not have to make it live. I am that I am. In other words, you do not carry God into your day. God carries you. Let this be the last turn of the key. Money isn't supply. I is supply. I embody supply. Supply isn't external to me. From this consciousness, the forms that suit the hour appear without fear's whip. Take your identity with you. You are the child of God, joint heir with Christ, heir not to coin, but to kingdom, not to baubles, but to substance. All that I have is thine. You are an instrument, not an ego. And instruments do not perform, they yield. So let God appear as ideas, as right doors, as dollars. If dollars are the clean language of today's need, do not coach it, do not stage it, do not apologize for it. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The giving is God's action. The receiving is your quiet consent. And here is the benediction that is also instruction. Go and sin no more. Do not hear that as moral scolding. Hear it as release from futility. In other words, go and cease chasing effects. Go and refuse to paste fruit on branches. Go and abide in I. Abide in me, and I in you. For without me, ye can do nothing. Nothing that stands. Nothing that carries peace. Let your new abstinence be from hurry and from fear. Let your new appetite be for inner contact. And when paper speaks, answer as one under grace, not as one hounded by law. The same steps will look different on you now. They will be light. Know this as you step out. You cannot unknow what grace has shown you. No one returns to the precise state of consciousness they were in before they tasted I. You may wobble. You may forget for an hour and chase a shadow, but the center you touched remains, and it will call you home. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. That newness is not a stage trick. It is a change of jurisdiction. If fear visits, it visits as a stranger without papers. Perfect love casteth out fear, not with arguments, with presence. So your charge is simple, so simple it offends pride. Live it. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it. Let your silence teach before your sentences do. If someone asks you, point them to a paragraph and then to their own inner room. Let your light so shine before men, not your noise. Refuse debate. Refuse display. Refuse rush. He that believeth shall not make haste. Keep the atmosphere clear and the steps honest. Pay what you can in peace. Say what you must without show. Wait when waiting is the cleanest truth. The principle will authorize your words by your life. Take also this promise, not from me, but from the word that cannot fail. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. As you abide, as I supply, fear has no ground. It has nowhere to set its foot. Demonstration will follow you, not like trumpets, but like footprints that appear as you walk quiet, fitting, on time. In due season we shall reap, if we faint not. So go out softly, under grace. Keep the rhythm. Hold your peace. Let God be cause where you stand. And as you move between your addresses and your duties, expect this one natural consequence of identity realized. Goodness and mercy will follow you. Not you chasing them following you all the days that this day opens before you. Don't try. Live it. Exemplify it.